So you have two very interesting Italian banknote specimens. What are they and what makes them so special?
I've been asked today to come up with something that's unique and an interesting story that the viewers would enjoy to hear. And I've been doing currency for 20 years. And I've had a plethora of stories. I've got more stories than Warner Brothers. But in the last couple of years, the world market has taken off and has become extremely attractive to the new buyers that are coming into the market and also the international people themselves. And something interesting happened about 3 months ago, and that was I got a call from an Italian dealer. His name was Marco. Marco calls me on the phone and says, are you interested in Da Vinci and Manzoni, which are the two highest denominational notes printed in the Italian series, 1967. He says, yes, of course, what do you have? Prior to the issuance of these notes, there were specimens created, and they were given to the central banks as a prototype and an example of what's to come. There was a Polish politician at that time that was friendly with the Italian government who was retiring from office. It turns out the Polish politician was a currency collector. So they gave him, as a going away present, these two notes that I have here today. And a close-up will show you that they are both specimens, serial number 27 and serial number 27.
A match set.
A match set of two different series. When Marco told me about these notes, I was amazed because prior to his phone call, there weren't any that were known to have survived.
Tell me about this very interesting $5 note you have.
This $5 note is known as the silver dollar because obviously it's the only one printed with with coinage on the back. The quantity of these is very low, which makes it a very desirable piece. This originally came out of the Grenwall collection, and this is the original receipt. You can see that the buyer of this, when it was bought out of the collection, paid $640. I will tell you that I paid over $4,500.
What makes the note so interesting to currency collectors?
Number one, it's in the top 100 currency notes that are desirable. It sits quite high in that. Number two, most of the people, because the quantity of them is so limited, that when they can find them, it becomes very desirable for the true collector to get them.
And it has that crossover appeal because it has the Morgan dollar on the reverse.
Yeah.
So they put the Morgan dollar in the reverse to denote that the Treasury had $5 of silver on account for every note.
At that time, you could walk into a bank and get $5 silver for this note.
And that silver dollar is an 1886
Correct.
Silver dollar, one of the more common dates. So you would need far more than 5 1886 silver dollars to get this note today.
A multitude.
So Julia, let me know this story about this unusual $10,000 gold certificate.
Well, this note was never intended for use by the public. This was only transacted between banks. During, I think it was 1935, there was a fire in the post office in Washington, D.C., and these got thrown out the window of the post office. The public would never have these, but they got thrown out the window. I estimate there was probably, I don't know, probably close to 2,000 notes that were thrown out, and the public just scooped them up. And being a Washington dealer, I see them from time to time. But there's been a couple of groups, one of a few hundred and stuff like that. But I estimate there may have been as many as 2,000 notes that were actually thrown out the window during the fire. And that's the only way that these notes exist anymore.
So this is a uniface note.
Yes.
And on the reverse, it has a few signatures. So why would somebody sign the note?
Because they've transacted between banks. It's not like today where they wire stuff. And these, you know, this went to the member of the New York Clearinghouse Association. Somebody had to sign it. This is the assistant cashier. There's 1, 2, and examine in the pay division. You know, there's a lot of history here, but it was never negotiable by the public.
So tell us about this very cool piece of currency you have.
Yeah, this is a $20 compound interest treasury note. In essence, it's almost a circulating bond. The United States was in the midst of rebuilding. We had our economy and our populace destroyed by the Civil War, and we were short on funds, quite frankly. So what we did was the government issued these, and there was a very predictable rate of return. The interest is spelled out on the back. The idea there is if the government produced a $20 bill and you didn't use it, they were floating money to the population. They were getting loans from the common man. So this was a real purpose here, and the repayment interest is spelled out very clearly on the back. Issued right at the tail end of the Civil War. This is an 1864 issue. It's really in rather exceptional condition for the particular issue. The bronze overprint often erodes through it, it oxidizes quite readily. So, despite the fact that some people might say it's only in a high-end, very fine condition, it's probably the top 25% of those known for the issue.
So how would somebody back then go about redeeming that?
I think it's redeemed actually at the local bank, and they get a voucher slip, and then they're paid through the federal government.
And then what happens to the note once it's
The note would be canceled.
Okay. And this note has not been canceled?
Never canceled, never redeemed.
So $20 is a lot of money not to redeem back in 1864.
Correct. And, you know, it worked perfectly. A lot of people didn't redeem them. They kept holding out for the interest to accrue, and then they just failed to do so.